Hey, 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 everyone. I'm Becca, he's Matt, and this is Becca's Book Club Adventure.
I'll tell you what, sister, it has been a week, and I am so glad that I have my book buddy back and we can talk books. Like, I feel like so much has happened in life lately, but also nothing has happened in life lately. And I just need to be distracted with books. Like, I've been immersed in yard work. You are out there like living your best life on the run. Like how I know we kind of talked, but like you did a trail run down in southeastern Ohio. How long was that?
So it's advertised as an 11K, but the thing with trail runs is they don't really know how long your run is, so it's just like close to that. So it was a little over 7 miles.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, that's really
Yeah.
freaking far for anybody that doesn't run. But like, I know you've done marathons, so like 7 miles is like not much of anything in comparison.
No, but so I've done the Cincinnati Marathon, which is known for having some of the biggest elevation changes because you go from like the riverfront to the top of the city and back down. I think there was still more elevation gain in this 7 miles that I did in this trail run because it's not flat ever, right? You're just up, down, the same 5 to 10 feet ish. And then it's Appalachian foothills, right? So it was actually not just the same 5 to 10, but it was good. Like we ran across a river at one point.
Did you have to get wet, or was there like a little footpath bridge?
If you didn't, there was not an intentional footpath bridge, but if you didn't play your cards right, you definitely got wet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
um, ooh, how's your closet coming? The dude should be back, right?
He should be. He's not yet to my knowledge, so no progress updates.
Okay, that's well. I trimmed bushes, so like
Yay, yard work.
I have all of this landscaping, and we planted a lot of it in like 2018, 2019, and we bought all of it very small because money. Your dad doesn't have like a crap ton of landscaping,
Mm-mm.
but my dad always has, and so I grew up with like this um, twice a year scheduled tree trimming and bush trimming and edging the grass and all of these things, right? But we bought these plants that were so small that I just told Elizabeth that we're just going to let them grow. We're going to let them get to a size. We're not going to care. And uh, the size that I wanted them to get to was last year. And I was like, ooh, these plants are finally big enough that we can like trim them and shape them and make them awesome. And last year was the drought. And I just decided I'm not touching anything because I'll just kill it because there's no water and we weren't allowed to water in the city because there was no water.
Yep.
And so this year, there's been so much rain that now that I can finally start trimming trees and bushes, everything has just gone. So everything is about 1.5 times the size that I wanted it to be to initially trim it. So I feel like I'm cutting everything in half. It's just so much work.
Yeah, that is a lot. And it's a lot of debris to get rid of.
It's a lot of debris to get to. Yeah, I don't have a 3-car garage, to store all these yard bags. So I just kind of like shuffle them in next to my car, and I have to back the car out so Elizabeth can even get in when we go places. And what the real problem with all the yard work is it takes away from my reading time and it hurts my soul. I like being in nature, but I just want to be with a cup of coffee in my chair with a book. Books make the world go round.
That they do.
Speaking of books, you remember the Coven that you read and you turned me on to. I did not wait for you to get the second book, and I read the second book.
Love it.
So if anybody's reading or listening, and you want to check out the episode about the first book, that was episode 14, I think. So go ahead and check that out. But I definitely wanted to. We had so many thoughts and feelings on what might happen in the second book. I kind of wanted to tease it for you,
Yes.
and see if you'll read it faster.
Yes. Let's see if I'll go to my library to actually rent a hard copy.
Yeah, but before I hit all of that, I need you to mention today's sponsor.
Yes, today's sponsor. Have you been feeling like you don't have enough anxiety in your life? Have you been searching high and low to try and find more to fill the void, but nothing is giving you any?
Yeah, how did you know?
It sounds like you need to take control and stop waiting and start creating. And oh boy, do we have a solution for you.
You do?
Yep, procrastination is a time-tested, gut-inducing sensation that helps you ignore everything until it becomes a full-blown emergency. Trust us, there's nothing that future you can't panic about better than present you doing nothing. And the best part, future you will always freak out with anxiety.
I'm not gonna lie, Becca, that sounds pretty damn amazing.
And for the low price and 3 easy payments of $19.95, plus shipping and handling of your dignity, we'll send you the ultimate beginner's guide to procrastinations so that you can seize back control of your anxiety.
Remind me.
That's yard work in a nutshell.
Yeah, remind me to give you my credit card information when the episode is over, and I want that book.
All right. So speaking of, tell me this teaser. What's the sequel like? Where are we going?
Okay, so I thought long and hard. Like it is so easy to tease a book that nobody has read before. That is the start of something. But how do we go about teasing a sequel? I think what we have to do is we have to acknowledge that the first book exists. So if nobody wants to be spoiled about the first book, shut this down, go back and watch episode 14 or read the book and come back.
Or episode 8's our teaser.
Or episode 8 is the non-spoiler teaser to book 1. So I think I want to start with a super brief recap of the end of book 1, which is called the Coven. And that will allow me to kind of launch into book 2 a little bit more naturally. And then I'll leave it up to you to ask me a whole bunch of questions. So that what do you want to know? And then I'm not going to tease or spoil anything.
Love it.
Accidentally. Okay. So first thing, for anybody that gives a crap, here is some information about the physical book itself. This is the second book of the Coven of Bones series by Harper L. Woods. It's called The Cursed, and it's the sequel to the first book called The Coven. I read the hardback version of this book. It was published in 2023, weighs in at about 290 pages. So not very long. And with that said, we can get into what it is, right? So if we remember the ending of the Coven,
Yeah.
Willow is trying to use Gray to take revenge on the Coven and unmake all of the vessels.
Yes.
But Gray was using her the entire time, and Willow falls a victim to Gray opening the portal to hell, allowing archdemons to pass into the mortal world, finding out that Gray is actually Lucifer, the devil, and somehow she's married to this guy. The Cursed picks up quite literally where the Coven ends.
Okay.
Willow is still being manhandled by Gray in the tribunal room. The portal to hell has literally just closed. No time has passed.
Okay.
So, in the wake of these events, right, Willow and Gray are trying to move forward. And I think the best way to tease this book is to simply start posing the quandaries that they're trying to solve.
Okay.
Okay, so this book tackles like what becomes of the Covenant, the Tribunal, and the Coven now that Gray killed a bunch of them, and right?
Now that we're missing a few characters.
Can the vessel's archdemons and witches learn to coexist peacefully, or is there going to be like an all-out war on the horizon? Does Willow fall in love with Gray and rule at his side, or does she continue on her original quest with the addendum of also trying to kill the devil? And speaking of the devil, Gray, what is up with that? What's up with him? Right? He's the devil. So what's his beef with God and the angels? And how does that affect Willow now that she's married to him?
So there are
And
angels now?
well, I mean, no, but Lucifer is technically an angel that was cast out of heaven.
True, true. Okay.
So if he has beef with them, one stands to reason that like his siblings or family or whatever are essentially angels. And I think the other big question is like, so book one is all about the prophecy about Willow, and seemingly that prophecy has now been fulfilled. So what gives? What is next? What's Willow's point? What's her purpose? And over the course of like 2 weeks, Willow, Gray, and all the residents of Hollows Grove are going to have to figure all of that shit out.
Okay. So my interpretation of her going into hell in the end of the book was incorrect. It sounds like they're still in Hollows Grove.
Accurate, yes.
And is Willow still our main character?
Yes. This
Okay.
book is a lot like the first book insofar as it goes back and forth between Willow and Gray's point of views.
And there is a third book, right? So this book sets us up for another?
Yes, this book sets us up for another. The third book comes out in October of this year.
Good timing for the Halloween.
I know, right? Somebody thought that through.
All right. I think what I need to know is, are there werewolves, or were we wrong about that?
So the Cursed do make a couple of appearances, but I think that the book was a little bit misnamed. They are not the focus. Nothing about them is explained in depth.
Solid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess the Coven also wasn't fully about the Coven. I mean, it was about the dismantling of the Coven.
Yes.
But, okay.
Some things like likes and dislikes. Okay, I really like this book. It's very much in keeping with the first book.
Okay.
The pacing is very similar. The spice level or erotic level is also super high, probably higher than the first book.
Okay.
The playing with the concept of consent that we talked about with the first book, I was wondering how is she going to keep that going given everything that happens in the first book? Like on some level, at the end of the book, by book one, Willow has kind of she's like in, and so at that point, how do you still play with this, back and forth of the consent game, and that continues, and it's actually really I found it really interesting how she made that happen.
In a negative way or a good way? Like, does
Both.
consent get crossed into a rapey category?
No, just like the first book, somehow this chick always gives consent. It is like the good uncomfortable. Willow also levels up this book.
Oh.
So I liked that. That was very cool.
Is it her necromancy skills that come forward?
She gets a lot better with the necromancy skills, yes, because part of that is just learning to accept that part of herself. So that levels up, but like there's some next level leveling up too that I can't really explain, but I thought was very cool.
Do her classmates still exist in the second book?
Yes.
Oh,
Although now we are only down to students that are legacies that are from Hollows Grove itself, because the ones
okay.
that Gray killed were all of the ones from outside of Hollows Grove in the first book,
Interesting.
right?
Is the creepy dude who wanted to have her babies still around?
Yes, Ibon is still around, and her former roommates, or they're not former, they are her roommate, are they're still there, and they make an appearance. It is all of that gets taken care of. I feel like the only things that I disliked about this book are the what I consider missed opportunities. So something that I really wanted from this book was more world building,
Mm-hmm.
and um, the book takes place at Hollows Grove University or whatever, and it takes place in a very compacted like week and a half time frame. And we don't leave the Hollows Grove grounds. Like there is no flight into the Enchanted Forest. There's none of that, right? Um, so I didn't get a larger world building, and we don't really learn more about hell or the magic system or the history of stuff.
Mm.
Um, and I felt like that was a missed opportunity, but it did not negatively impact the book. It negatively impacted my expectations.
Do we learn more about the father-daughter issues?
If we do, that happens like as some throwaway comments in the first 3 pages, and I'm just
Gotcha.
misremembering, but it's not a
Okay.
plot point. I know I kind of finished there with some things I didn't like, but I still really enjoyed the book. I did not rate it as highly as book one. I think book one I gave a 4. This I still gave a 3.5. This is still really good. And if anything, I think what it does, and this could just be me making my expectations too big again, I think it sets up book three to
Mm.
be expanding. Maybe not the world, but definitely the celestial uh, conflict.
So
Celestial
maybe I'll get my
conflict of
werewolves
it.
then.
Yeah. Um, and I think book three is going to be super interesting. So the series is definitely worth continuing to read. Uh, I do not think it's going to be any sort of epic fantasy with big world building, and I think it's definitely kind of a fun, smutty read, and I think I'm okay with that at this point because it's dark, and the dark and twistiness make it feel like more than just sex.
It scratches the itch.
A little bit, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, hearing all of that and knowing that the third book comes out in October, I don't think I'll be reading this anytime soon. I think I'll be reading this maybe closer to August, September, considering I read for vibes. And I'll
Mhm.
probably forget half the characters by October if I read it now.
I'm waiting to see when I'm able to place a hold on the third book at the library, because if I can like place a hold like now and I can get first in line, then maybe I'll get it in the middle of October instead of having to wait until January. So that'll be cool. But I think that's all I've got today for The Cursed by Harper L. Woods. I'll be honest with you, Becca. It is I'm finding it difficult, like finding new books to read, because everything seems to be a part of a series. So you read a book, and then you just want to read the rest of the series.
Mhm.
But on some level, I also just want to. I have this urge to read a little bit of everything and just expand my like romanticy knowledge experience kind of a thing. So I'm really glad that you are reading different stuff. That is very helpful.
Yes. Well, and I feel like everything we read is then a commitment because of the series component to it. So
Mhm.
Maybe if the listeners have some book recs, that would be really helpful. Specifically, if you've got one-off books to help us get through some of our series slump, that would be great. If you do, you can send them in an email to us at bookclubbybecca@gmail.com, or leave us a comment or review, or DM us on our Instagram at Becca's Book Club Adventure. All one word, all lowercase. We might feature you in our next episode.
Yeah, and who knows what we're doing for the next episode, but until then, keep up the procrastination on everything except your books. Thanks for listening.